Ayan na! Ayan na mga kameta! Ayan na naman ang politika sa Pilipinas. Sabi ko, exercise lang muna tayo, magpa-fresh tayo today. Let's get back to di ba? Sabi lang natin na let's get back to healthy lifestyle. Let's get back to anyway, I hope you guys had a day full of reflection and spiritual contemplation kahapon. Of course, Ash Wednesday, especially dun sa mga Katoliko at saka mga observant na Katoliko. Kaya kahapon, I thought maybe it's not good na we'll do a meta. Let's just leave it for today kasi kahapon I wanted it to be more of contemplation and all, especially dun sa mga nag-observe ng Ash Wednesday. So, in respect and and in respect and due consideration. Today po, talagang kailangan na natin Sabi ko, kailangan natin mag-meta para tignan talaga natin ang reaction ng mga kababayan natin dyan. Well, of course, mga kameta. Ayan. Una-una, kamusta dyan, mga ka-Jeopardy? Kamusta dyan, mga ka-Unity? Uy, hindi maganda masyado yung review sa Ant-Man Yung latest Ant-Man. Pungang walang masyadong natuwa doon, mga kameta. Ayan. Di na lang ako manood na Ant-Man. Mamaya ako na panoorin yung mga ibang movie, especially mga political movie. Anyway, eto, mga kameta, tingnan natin. Una-una, doon sa Jeopardy, ano naman, konting recognition naman. Alam nyo naman talaga, ako yung una talaga nagpasikat. Na obviously, we cannot say who exactly first thought of it per se. I mean, di ba, may million na Pilipino dyan. Pero pagdating naman sa pag-popularize na term na, Magellan Jr., alam nyo na sino yan, mga kameta. Alam nyo na sino yan. In fact, may sinulat pa nga tayo na artikulo dyan sa Philippine Daily Inquirer, yung sa World Traveler. Diba? Kung saan minention na natin talaga itong Magellan Jr. na yan. So, pakicheck niyan. At saka yung tweet natin, guys. Yung mga tweet natin. Ito. Sige. Sige na nga, tignan muna natin. Bago tayo pupunta kay, Maharlika, tsaka kay Very Good Senator, tignan naman natin itong, mga kameta. Talaga itong mga kameta, hindi tayo binibigyan ng sapat. Tapos, eto pa, yung mga haters natin, ang corny pa nila. Anong gusto niyo ang citation, sir? KSP daw tayo. Like, alam mo, napansin ko dun sa mga haters natin, puro mga walang sense of humor. And wit and humor are highly correlated to, alam niyo na, kaya pala hindi nila nagigets yung mga political analysis and points natin. But anyway, forget about mga haters. Tingnan natin to para, ay, mga kameta. Ano ba kasi nangyari sa bansa natin? Ayan tayo, mga kameta. Lagay natin dyan. Ayan na. Ito yung... May sound ba? Wait lang. Ayan. Talagang naging Jeopardy game na siya. Ayan na naman tayo. Ayusin natin yan, mga kameta. 1 second. Nasaan tong... Ang tagal ko na hindi gumamit to Siyempre, Magellan din tayo. Nagta-travel din. Ayan, ito. Meron pala sounds Meron pala sounds, mga kameta. Ayan, talagang... Yan. Talagang pinaghirapan ng sagot, Hindi ba parang... Yan.
In office from 2022, the president of this country has taken so many foreign trips. A play on his name is Ferdinand Magellan Jr. You have 30 seconds. Good luck.
Ayan. Tapos yung sumagot pa yata, naka-pink pa. Tuloy, naging conspiracy to. Sabi, siguro gumawa ng tanong na yun, pinklawan. Tapos kaya mga nakasagot yung pinklawan na yan. Panoorin yung mga... Yan, talagang... Ayan. Talagang... Oy, grabe naman yun na Jeopardy niyan. Bigyan niyo naman ako ng due recognition. At ang gusto ko, mga kameta, Chicago style yung references.
In office from 2022, the president of this country has taken so many foreign trips, a play on his name is Ferdinand Magellan Jr.
Ferdinand!
You have 30 seconds.
Bakit ganun
Good
yung
luck.
accent nila, no? Ferdinand. Ayan, okay. Anyway, mga kameta, alam nyo na tayong, talaga nagpaano dito. O, sige, tawagin nyo ako ng, call me, tawag doon. Ginawa pa tayong case. But yeah, come on, guys. Have a sense of humor. We're just joking around. Nasaan na? Ba't di ko siya matanggal? Saan ka na, Magellan? Ayan. Okay. Anyway, actually, interestingly, dun sa thread natin dun sa, about Magellan Jr., may mga nag-reply doon at pinost pa yung isang, I have to double check this graphics, kung saan pinapakita na actually hindi si Marcos Jr. ang pinakamaraming foreign trips in his first year in office or first 9 months in office. But actually, si Tatay daw. Ito po. Now, I have to double check this. But alam natin si Tatay Digong within his first 3 years in office, mga kameta. Ito to. Ito si Tatay, tingnan nyo. 12 daw. Talo pa si Magellan Jr. Anyway, double check natin yan. Pero wag natin kalimutan, in his first 3 years in office, si Tatay Digong ay naka-travel sa how many is that? 20, 21, 22 foreign destinations. So, wow, 'di ba? Parang more than 7, more than 7 or almost at least 7 per year, no? At alam natin na if not siguro for the pandemic, at ito pa, si Tatay Digong di pa pumisita sa Amerika, sa mga Western allies natin. China pala, nakalima siya. Official pa lang mga to, hindi natin alam yung mga iba. Kaya nang bahala, magkano na dyan. But, Russia, 2, China, 5. I mean, ang dami niyang bisita. Japan, I think 2 or 3. So, wala pa nga mga Western destinations. So, siguro kung sinama pa yung mga Western destination, kung si Tatay mabait din sa kanila, edi wala na. Abutan tayo ng 30, 40, 70. Ayan. So, well, syempre, nag-pandemic. So, nag-stop na yung mga foreign travels. Pero the trajectory of the president was an average of 7 foreign trips per year under Duterte, no? So, tingnan natin. If in his first 3 years, si Marcos Jr. ay maabutan niya etong record ni Tatay Digong. So, speaking of attribution and recognition of records, sige na nga, let's be fair also to Tatay. Anyway, yung isa pang nakita natin kahapon, ito. Gusto rin natin mag-post yan, pero sabi ko maghanap tayo ng matinong oras na pag-usapan yan. Ito mga kameta, the blogger situation in the Philippines is getting a little bit crazy. And one wonders, and I was actually thinking about this last night, how influential ba talaga mga bloggers sa Pilipinas? Because my sense is the bloggers more like amplified, pre-existing political prejudices, biases, and misperceptions rather than being the primary cause of the disinformation or political populist crisis in the Philippines, or however some of our liberal friends or colleagues want to put it. Because kung titignan nyo mga kameta, marami dyan sa mga pro-BBM bloggers ay hindi na pro-BBM ngayon. If anything, some of them have completely turned against the president or at least people close to the president. Now, ayoko na madamay dun sa mga ewan-ewan na mga debates dyan. We're kind of better than that, right? But it was just fascinating na kahapon. Di naman ako subscriber ng mga trash, ang tawag ko junk food bloggers, to put it nicely. Pero natawa lang ako dun sa isang tweet na dumaan sa atin, sa feeds natin. Aside from Elon Musk sa feeds natin. Kung saan biglang nakita natin, itong dekada 70, dekada 50, yung ganitong, fashion. Buti pa yung sa atin, di ba? Spaceship boy, di ba? Tingnan natin yan, ha? Talagang, ewan ko, by the way, we're not endorsing yung mga pinagsasabi ng mga vloggers na yan. As always, my stance on the vloggers has been consistent, no? Ay, nako. Of course, I'm talking about specific types of vloggers. Alam niyo na sa inyo mga yan. Pero, ano lang ako, parang hindi ko na-expect na mangyari yan. Wala pang 6 months, 1 year, ganyan na yung nangyari, no? So, ito, panoorin natin mga kameta, talagang ito, for the ages, for the ages. For the ages na naman ito. Kayo na humusga. Ito.
Pero kahit nasa kabila na gusto ko maghumingi ng tawad sa mga taong na-convert ko para botohin si BBM. Dahil akala ko po, dahil sa somehow naging part ako. Okay? Nitong pagkapanalo niya, na akala ko ito'y babangon. Huwag tayong maglokohan. I have all the list ng mga Q&A sa notes ko, sa telepono ko, na
wala akong masabi
ipinresent ko
dyan.
sa inyo. Diba? Pero kahit nasa kabila na, nabubulol pa rin si Bongbong. Kaya nga yung sa tungkol dun sa SMNI, ang SMNI, umamin na rin kayo.
Nako.
Tungkol sa Machiavellian na yon.
Machiavellian!
Correct na rin yan.
Anong Machiavellian? Machiavellian ba yan? Ano yung Machiavellian? Yan, hindi ko na kaya ng Machiavellia. Ano yun? Parang ano? Parang ano yun? Yung chocolates? Yung chocolates na ano? Ano yung chocolates na hapon? Macadamia ba yan? Machiavellian. Ano ba yan? Grabe naman. Machiavella. Okay, balikan natin si Machiavella. Ano pa? Sige pa. Aha.
Alam ko. Kasi ako, nagbigay ako ng script eh. Ng question na
Ay, wala akong alam dyan. Bahala kayo dyan. I mean, I know this person has been kind of changing tone for the past few months and all. But hindi ko masyadong pinapansin sa dami pa natin ibang titignan, including Circumnavigation of Earth, di ba? By Junior. But ito talagang dumaan talaga sa feed natin, guys. Ano nangyayari dito? Ibang klase talaga ng ating bayan, no? Wala pang 1 year, nagbabalik-baliktaran na yung mga, mga Machiavella. Wait lang. Sa kakaano natin, naguluhan tong screen ko. Machiavella. Ano ulit? Ulitin natin. Machiavella.
Gusto ko po humingi ng sorry sa inyo. Nagkamali ako.
Yan. Ito. Hanapin natin mga kameta. Wait lang. Kayo magulo. Machiavella. Mga ka-Machiavella. Wait lang. Nasaan yung interact? Ayan.
Time, gusto ko maghumingi ng tawad sa mga taong na-convert ko para
Grabe
botohin
naman.
si BBM.
Grabe naman.
Dahil akala ko po, dahil sa
Ayan.
somehow naging part ako.
Ayan.
Okay? Nitong pagkapanalo niya, na akala ko ito'y babangon. Huwag tayong maglokohan. I have all the list ng mga Q&A sa notes ko, sa telepono ko,
Q&A?
na
Ano ba
ipinresent
yung
ko sa
question
inyo.
and
Diba?
inquiry?
Pero kahit nasa kabila na, nabubulol pa
Ayan.
rin si Bongbong. Kaya nga yung sa tungkol dun sa SMNI, ang SMNI, umamin na rin kayo. Tungkol sa Machiavellian na yon.
Machiavellian talaga eh.
Script na rin yan. Diba? Kasi alam ko, kasi ako nagbigay ako ng script eh.
Ay, ewan ko na
Gusto
dyan.
ko
Maglaglagan
humingi
na kayo
ng sorry
dyan.
sa inyo.
Ayan.
Nagkamali ako.
Ayan, nagkamali daw.
Na naging part ako nitong pagkapanalo dahil sa kagustuhan kong maibangon muli
Ay,
ang Pilipinas.
taray. Talaga.
Pero
may pagmamahal talaga. Talagang may pagmamahal ng mga to. Talagang gusto nila, Machiavella tayo overnight. Overnight Singapore. Machiavella. Yan. Kamusta naman kayo dyan, mga kameta? Mga kameta, anong nangyari sa bansa natin, mga kameta? Wala pang isang taon. Ito na. Sila na nga lang nag-away-away na. Talagang unity talaga. Unity talaga. Nakita nga, pati yung mga, parang mga banat boy, mga yan. Nakikiano na rin dito, ha? Grabe. Hi, mga kameta, ano nangyari sa atin? Actually, I'm quite surprised, no? Siyempre, nakita natin itong announcement na si President Marcos Jr. is gonna augment his communications team. Ano ba to? Under Creative Communications ba yan? Ilan ba yung critical or PCO ba yan? Sabi, ang dami nilang kukunin na, assistant secretary and secretaries. Ang dami, di ba? Ayan, ito PCO yata yan. Ito, mga kameta. Tingnan niyo naman, ang dami. Wala pa nga tayong health secretary na, na full-fledged. Wala pa tayong agriculture secretary na full-fledged. Ayan na kaagad. Ang dami ang dami nandito. Communications office. Mga kameta, wag niyo nang anin yung itong isa. Tingnan nyo naman, ang dami naman i-hire. Grabe naman ang gagawin nila dito. Ito, mga kamakavele. Makavele. Ayan, mga kamakavele. You know? Ito, reorganizes communications office, mga kamakavele. Ito, tingnan natin mga kamakavele. Basahin natin ha. Tignan natin yung, ito talagang interesting ha. So, the President has signed an executive order reorganizing the Presidential Communications Office, PCO, which will have 5 undersecretaries and 15 assistant secretaries. Wow! 15 assistant secretaries. Napakahirap naman ang trabaho nila. Grabe naman. 15 assistant secretaries. Ano yun? Ayan, wala na kasi mga vloggers yan, kaya babawi na lang siguro sa manpower dyan sa ewan ko talaga sa Pilipinas. So yun, so habang wala pa tayong full-fledged health and agriculture secretaries, among others, eto magkakaroon tayo ng massive presidential communications office with dami oh. Lampas sa 12, 15 assistant secretaries. Are you kidding me? Wow. Sarap life. 500 15 assistant secretary. Wow. Para mas malaki pa to doon sa Department of National Defense. Forget about DFA and all pa. Tsaka, ilan ba yung undersecretaries sa Department of Finance? Ibang klase talaga. 15 undersecretaries. Ibang klase talagang Pilipinas. Only in the Philippines. So siguro yan nga, nawala na yung mga vloggers. Kaya kung saan-saan napatpat ang usapan. Kaya i-augment na lang natin mga kameta itong communications office na yan. So yun nga, yun ang pinag-usapan natin dun sa mga, remember guys, yung mga podcast natin with blogger extraordinaire Mark Gamboa. Pinag-usapan natin itong surprising and surreal turn of events when it comes to the blogger situation in the Philippines. You would have expected by this time mga kameta na itong mga supporters ni Marcos Jr. would be in a totally full unity mode talaga by now, and talagang they would isolate the critics and they would really make the country look like talagang makakabangon tayo, next level na tayo, and then boom, etong mangyari. Sila na nga lang, good luck sa unity. Anyway, now for me naman, my argument is simple. As long as the president is the president, as long as the president has the levers of power, we can clearly see that these bloggers are really not making much of an impact. Because if you look at it, mga kameta, the approval ratings of President Marcos Jr. are still pretty high. Not to mention, nakikita natin, even mga supporters from regional strongholds of the Dutertes are defecting to the administration. So you had more than 200 current and former Davao-based officials joining and nag-outtaking dyan sa lakas party ni Martin Romualdez, who is of course a cousin and really the top ally and in many ways the number 2 in the Philippines today, no? If you look at real indications of power and influence talaga, no? No offense na lang dun sa iba. Alright, so now obviously today nagte-trending din isa sa mga senators natin, isa sa mga very productive senators natin dito sa issue ng ICC among others. At obviously alam niyo na yung nagkaroon din ng backlash doon sa isang movie si Gerard Butler, diba, which portrays the Philippines in quite a negative light. So the senators have been pushing for its ban, etc. I kind of first heard about it from Senator Zubir nung na-meet natin siya, I think last November. He kind of told me about this. Now obviously we see some of our senators getting a little bit spirited, no? Not spirited away, but spirited in terms of getting passionate in terms of supporting the former president, or in many ways supporting supposedly our national interests and all. So nakita natin here, for instance, Senator Jingoy now trending online for a very, very tough statement that he has made dito sa, I think this is the ICC issue, no? Check natin, okay. Ito mga kameta. At of course, it became quite controversial because of the usage of, well, racist language in certain sense, some would say, or racialist language. Now, obviously, hindi lang mga puti ang pwede maging racist. To say that mga puti lang pwede maging racist is in a way saying, it's in a way kind of racist too, diba? So, ito, so I'm just quoting this, you see the quote that was shared online, and now you can hear it yourself. 1 second, yan na lang natin to mga kameta.
Police and even the incumbent president of our country, President Ferdinand Romualdez Marcos Jr., said the investigation would be and I quote, the investigation would be an intrusion into our internal matters and a threat to our sovereignty. Furthermore, President Marcos said, and I quote, I feel that we have in our police and our judiciary a good system. We do not need assistance from any outside entity. Kaya naman po mga mahal na Pangulo, itong pinapupunta, kung sino man ang pinupunta ng ICC dito sa ating bansa, kung sino man Poncio Pilatong prosecutor, itong mga puting unggoy na ito, hindi na dapat papasukin dito sa ating bansa because that will be an exercise in futility, Mr. President. That's why, Mr. President, I am confident that the DOJ is not remiss in its primary mission to uphold the rule of law. We should trust our justice system. At katulad nga ng sinabi ng aking matalik na kaibigan na si Senator Padilla, hindi tayo dapat magpauto, hindi tayo dapat sumunod kung ano mang instructions na ibibigay sa atin nito mga dayuhang unggoy na ito. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you, Senator Estrada. Manifestation is
Iba, talagang next level Next level, mga kameto. By the way, speaking of the movie, at of course, Robin Hood Padilla, ito po yung konteksto ng, ito po yung konteksto nun.
Isang pelikula ang kinakalaban ni Senator Robin Padilla ngayon. Ito yung pelikulang Plane. Bida dito si Gerard Butler. Yung si Leonidas at yung bida sa Olympus Has Fallen franchise.
Ito mga kameta. Para makita niyo yung konteksto ng isa pang sinasabi natin yan. Kasi, in fairness, Senator Zubir already told me about this few months ago. At now, mukhang siniseryoso talaga ng ating mga napakagaling na senators. Lang, nakikita ba to?
Ni Senator Robin Padilla ngayon. Ito yung pelikulang Plane. Bida dito si Gerard Butler. Yung si Leonidas at yung bida sa Olympus Has Fallen franchise. Para kay Senator Robin, hindi daw katanggap-tanggap ang pagpresenta sa Pilipinas ng naturang pelikula.
Itong isang to Mamaya na tayo magbatang Quiapo. But anyways, itong movie ng Plane, kasi ang concern dito, mga kameta, is that yung pag-portray sa Philippines is, alam ko sa Batang Quiapo nagkaroon din ng issue dun sa portrayal ng ating mga Muslim na kapatid, no? And yun din ang concern ko usually is because, there are already stereotypes about yung ating mga Muslim na kapatid. And when you talk about mass media, it's very important that you correct rather than enforce this kind of narratives and all. Of course, you're not expecting one movie to just say good things about certain people, but the idea is you don't keep on just regurgitating yung paulit-ulit na stereotypes of certain people because you're just contributing to prejudices or a culture of prejudice and marginalization. Yun po yung concept na yun po yung context na pinag-usapan natin dito. Anyway, speaking of the movie Plane also, naging issue din yan because it also perpetuates yung mga stereotypes about the Philippines, na supposedly unstable country tayo, na fourth world country, na failed state, etc. And sana naman, 'di ba? And this is where we have to have sympathy or empathy dun sa portrayal ng ating Muslim na kapatid, because we also don't like when others, especially foreigners or Hollywood, portray the Philippines as some sort of a failed state and all, na pinapakita lang yung mga, it is true naman na talagang may mga insurgency tayo, may problema tayo sa terrorismo, may problema tayo sa kahirapan, may problema tayo, marami tayong problema, given na yan, di ba? Tanungin na lang si Tatay Digong. But the point is, there's so much more to the Philippines than that. In the same way na there's so much more to the Filipino food than, some of the street food or extreme foods na pinapakita dun sa Fear Factor or those kinds of Hollywood Western production. So I sympathize with our senators when they say that it's important for us to ensure na hindi tayo binabastos at hindi na reinforce yung mga stereotypes kung saan they only show the glass half empty or three-fourths empty. But you rather want a situation whereby they show also the other side of the Philippines, the kind side of the Philippines, the more prosperous side of the Philippines, the more dynamic side of the Philippines. One of my biggest frustration is dun sa mga news outlets, they're always showing the Philippines when there's a crisis, when we're giving bases to US, or when we're saying tatay style barangay geopolitical things vis-a-vis China, etc. But they don't. But there's no portrayal of the Philippines as a whole, especially the more encouraging sides of the Philippines, our robust civil society, our brave journalists, our thriving and dynamic middle class, our great educational institutions, our beautiful people, our great food, all of these things that they have to show. No, at yun ang frustration natin mga kameta when it comes to foreign movies and all, or some of these foreign movies. So this is where I kind of empathize, and I kind of support Senator Robin Padilla's concerns about this movie. In the same way, now remember, we also had a kind of a backlash against another movie the other year. Ito yung movie na diba? Yung parang anime siya kung saan it regurgitated Chinese propaganda naman dun sa West Philippine Sea, kung saan pinakita na parang yung South China Sea sa kanila at ginamit yung 9-dash line ng China, which is a joke per international law, etc. So yun po yung context. So I completely empathize with the argument that the Philippines should not take kindly, or welcome kinds of movies that portray the Philippines in a certain negative light, or reinforce. Well, of course, may mga negative about our country the same way there's a negative about the US, etc. But if you just show the negative of our country over and over and over again, you erase, nagkakaroon ka ng erasure of so many other great things about our people, our culture, our society, and the dynamism that our country has. So in that sense, I kind of agree with Senator Padilla na, we have to, or Senator Zubiri for that matter, that we have to push back against this. What I'm not for is puerile insults against foreigners, some sort of racialist insults, etc. I'm not very sure that it's the best reflection of what a democracy should be, or someone in the august chamber of the country should be. I have some concerns about that. I don't think that's optimal. We can criticize others based on logical argumentation, based on post-colonial argumentation, based on anti-colonial argumentation. But ang argument ko talaga dito mga kameta is this. I mean, how I wish, instead of just attacking foreign movies that portray the Philippines in a certain negative or stereotypical or narrow sense, or Orientalist for that matter, na ang Pilipino ay ganito lang, ang Pilipinas lang forever ay supposedly unstable country. That's very Orientalist. That's racist in a certain way, no? We don't try. I hope that our senators don't fight back against it by trying to just push back against criticism by reversing the table, etc. But I hope our senators also push for genuine reforms in the Philippines that deals with genuine problems that we face, because we seriously have problems when it comes to human rights, to extrajudicial killings, to, one of the top journalists in this country was a victim of that, actually 2 of them last year. We have some serious problems, of course, with lack of inclusive development, with a lot of warlords and political dynasties ravaging the margins of this country, or sometimes even closer to the capital, etc. We have this serious problem. So I hope our senators, instead of just attacking not all, but some of the senators, instead of just attacking those who want more investigation by the ICC, those who want more investigation in JK, I want the senators to do their job, which is to act as fiscalizers to the executive rather than just echoing the line of the executive, or at the very least complement efforts by the executive by pushing for genuine comprehensive oversight on overview and investigation of ano nangyari. Because as far as, for instance, the allegations of human rights and EJKs are concerned, ilan bang held accountable? If we're talking about 6,000 cases per admission of the government in only the first few years of the former administration, and some would say potentially 20,000-30,000 cases, and then you're looking at how many cases led to actual convictions or disciplinary action. I mean, it It just doesn't make sense. You're talking about few cases that you can count with your hands versus tens of thousands of cases, or at the very least 6,000 cases. So clearly, our judicial institutions have to up their game, no? Especially efforts by the government to investigate the matter. So you cannot just, you know, gets yun na yan, di ba? So, ang point lang natin, simple lang dito mga kameta. If the senators really want to help and they really want to do their job, the best thing they can do is not only criticize any stereotypical Hollywood production about the Philippines, but also genuinely contribute to efforts that reassures the world about our, reassures the world na hindi tayo fourth world, na hindi tayo banana republic, that we are really moving in the right direction, because we do have some serious fundamental problems when it comes to human rights, when it comes to rule of law, the quality for education. The other day, nakita natin yung isang turista galing sa New Zealand was just shot by yung mga gusto magnakaw sa kanya. I mean, like, these are the kind of news that come out of our country, and these are things that happen in our country. So clearly we have a crisis of rule of law. Clearly we have a problem with corruption. Clearly we have a problem with instability in much parts of our country. Diba yung siege ng Marawi? Only in the Philippines that happened as far as the broader Southeast Asian region or East Asia is concerned. No, you only see that. You don't see that in Taiwan, in Malaysia, in Singapore, not even in Indonesia anymore, because the Banda Aceh issue has been resolved since early 2000s, etc., more or less. Even in Patani, in southern Thailand, you don't have the situation like what we had where, like an ISIS-affiliated group takes over a whole city. I mean, this only happened in the Philippines over the past few years or so as far as East Asia is concerned. No? So parang Mosul level, Iraq, Syria level. No? So yun yung point natin. So yes, I agree na we should push back against stereotypical, almost racist movies, Orientalist movies against the Philippines. But at the same time, I think the job of the senators to really fiscalize and make sure that the government does its job, doesn't cover up, doesn't whitewash, but actually deals with the root of the problem. Because hindi po mangmang yung mga foreigners, foreign investors. Yes, President Marcos was able to garner, 62 billion dollars, almost 3.5 trillion pesos in pledges. But these are just pledges. If you want them to translate, you have to gain the confidence of foreign investors. You have to gain the confidence of the international community. And guess what? Narratives shape investment decisions. If the headlines always are the Philippines is unstable, the Philippines has this problem with ICC, the Philippines has this problem with EJK, the Philippines has these problems with corruption, the Philippines has this problem with inept politicians, trapos, dynasties, then it's going to be very hard even for sympathetic investors to raise capital to bring into the Philippines for long term. Because when you're talking about real investments, like infrastructure investments, like greenfield investments, ito ay mga 10, 20, 30-year investments, if not more, no? So even if meron mga sympathetic investors who met Marcos Jr., they're impressed, they want to invest more in the Philippines, they will have a hard time raising funds because they have to go around and raise funds, no, from other potential investors who haven't met Marcos Jr., who haven't been to the Philippines or have rarely been to the Philippines, and all they see on news headlines, etc., are these negative things about this country, and a lot of them are based on facts, not concoctions, right? So my nice advice to some of our good senator friends there is deal with the root cause of the problem here. Don't shoot the messenger. Don't just get mad at foreigners, etc. Yes, I'm all for criticizing bad Hollywood movies. My goodness, there's so many bad Hollywood movies, so many almost racist, Orientalist Hollywood movies, true. But at the same time, let's not deny that there are some problems in our country when it comes to human rights, the rule of law, etc. The facts are out there. The reports are all over the place, no? Because if you really want to get investments and respect from the world and improve the Philippines brand and reassure the world that we're not some fourth world country or banana republic, then we have to get to the root of the problem. Yun lang sinasabi natin mga kameta. Alright? Hi, ang dami natin drama. The more dynamic. Ayan, biglang nag-monologue tayo. Anyway, ayaw lang na kasi natin na purong bardagulan lang mga kameta. So, magte-thank you lang tayo sa lahat ng mga nag-effort dito. Salamat kay Ma'am Eden Olonan. Thank you so much kay Sir Michael Uy for joining us. Thank you so much sa lahat ng mga nagko-comments, suggestions. Really appreciated. By the way, later tonight, I know the time is a little bit tricky, but later tonight, God willing, we're gonna have also a very senior Filipino diplomat, someone I recognize as one of the chief architects of our foreign policy. God willing, we're gonna have an interview with him. We're gonna have it live here, but of course the full Zoom will come out separately. So abangan nyo. It's gonna be a little bit 11 p.m. because the person we're talking to is on the other side of the planet Earth, fighting for our national interests, no, and doing an excellent job in guiding our president in the best way, best direction ever. So yeah, so we're gonna talk to top officials again as we did last year's and try to get their points of view, God willing. All right, and hopefully that may be the beginning of even more, really in-depth interviews with policymaker, decision makers in this country. Again, hindi po tayo nandito para magbanat ng ganito or magbanat ng ganyan. Hindi lang tayo para sa bardagulan. We're here to really raise the level of awareness and political discourse in this country. Now, kung may mga haters dyan who want to pick on some of my, trollish tweets here and there, bahala na kayo. Go on. Hate the world. Hate me, whatever. But anyone who really knows, anyone who really bothers, anyone who has a clear mind and clear conscience knows what we're trying to do here, which is to raise the level of political discourse in our country so that we can be more effective citizens, we can make the right decisions, and hopefully down the road elect the right leaders so that we can have the best form of governance for the future of our country, for our children, for ourselves, and also in a way magbigay pugay dun sa mga sakripisyo ng ating mga forefathers, no. Thank you so much. Maraming salamat, guys, and talk to you in the coming hours, God willing. An important interview, and also more and more discussions, including also discussions and interviews also with directors, artists, and other people who are the movers and shakers in our country. All right? Maraming salamat. Thank you very much, and God bless.